Welcome back to Once Upon a Time in the New Republic. This is a podcast where we talk about the new Disney Plus show, The Mandalorian. In this episode, we are talking about Chapter 7, The Reckoning.
Very good. I'm done chewing now. I was going to say, this is the podcast where we talk about The Mandalorian, not The Rise of Skywalker. We have all seen it. We will not talk about it on here. So you're safe, Disney Plus people who can't get out of the house or don't feel like it or have heard enough bad shit that you're scared of going.
Or just don't want to pay $20 to go see a movie.
Dude, we went yesterday and it was like $7.
See, you guys
but you went early though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a nice fucking theater with reclining chairs and shit. And it was $7.
The Stones River 9?
Yeah. You know what? It was the first fucking time I've ever been to a theater with assigned seating. And sure enough, I got in there and there was somebody in my fucking seat. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, hey, you're in my seat. You're in our seats. It was some woman and her kid. And she was there with two other people who were sitting like right next to us. So she went and sat on the other side of him. And I was like, okay, you bought those seats, but you decided to sit in my seats? Why? Because mine are in the middle? I just bought my seats before I walked in here. You could have bought these fucking seats, but you didn't. Yeah. So get your fucking ass up and fuck off. God, man. What is the deal?
What seat did you end up buying? Because you said to me as you got in there, like, this isn't my seat. I just randomly picked a seat.
Well, yeah, it's because, so we saw it at 2:30 in the morning, Thursday night, because I finished my loadout at 12:30. And then immediately got in my car and booked it back just straight to Opry Mills. And I got there as the trailers were like halfway done.
We missed most of the trailers too, because on the stupid fucking website it said there was a showing at 11:40. Mm-hmm. So we showed up, but the 11:40 was the 3D. And there was like no way to differentiate on the website. So I was just like, well, fuck. And there was a showing at 11:15, and it was like 11:14, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, fuck it. We missed like half the trailers, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, the movie, like...
Hey, we're not talking about the movie.
Showing was at 2:30, didn't even start till after 3.
I really thought... Dude, no, stop.
Had like 30 minutes of previews at Opry Mills.
Well, it's also because they had to tag on all those IMAX previews at the end of it.
Yeah,
the one that IMAX?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Fancy.
There was one trailer that didn't have like the green bar at the beginning that was like, oh, this is for this specific audience.
Jack started freaking out.
It was a cold start to the trailer, and it was like an action movie, and it had like the Warner Brothers logo. It was like a slow pull-in shot on the Warner Brothers logo, and I was like...
It was some
movie with Robert Pattinson. It's
it
like
was
Teneton.
A full scene. Oh, okay. It was a full scene of that movie.
Is that the
Nolan?
Christopher Nolan?
It's like the bank heist movie.
Yeah.
I have not seen the trailer for it.
Me either. But...
It was very because they played like the intro to the movie. It was like, oh, here's the prologue to this movie, and it was like a good solid 10 minutes.
Yeah, Jack started freaking out. He was like, "They're playing the wrong movie. They're playing the wrong." And he was like about to get out of his seat, and I was like, "Calm down."
I got burned on that once. Dad and I went to go see Batman Begins when it first came out, and they started showing. I think that was when. It was like a remake of a horror movie that had come out at the same time. They started playing.
Yeah, we got burned on that one too.
That happened once. What movie was it?
Batman Begins.
Yeah, they played the Happening. They were playing the fucking Happening.
Did you guys go see it in
Hickory 8?
Yeah, that's where Dad and I saw it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Man, fuck those guys.
Yeah, right.
Well, that place. Is it even there anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they turned it into an AMC, right?
It's still an AMC discount movie theater.
Yeah, it's like the Dollar Theater or some shit like that. They're probably showing Captain Marvel right now.
Probably.
Okay, so Nate did the intro, and we're good to go. What'd you guys think of this episode?
Even though it was a Rick and Morty episode, I really liked it.
It was good.
So you're just referencing the team up thing, right?
Yeah.
I got a job.
I just thought it was so. I thought it was so funny. It was either the last podcast or the podcast before it. We referenced the "you son of a bitch" I'm in, and then this whole episode was just like fucking that.
Well,
but I still thought it was badass.
I thought it was a really good episode. And before I forget, we got to applaud Jack here because we all said Deborah Chow would get the finale. But Deborah Chow got this one. And we were like, And Jack was the odd one out, saying Deborah Chow would get this one, and we were all like, well, you know what? We'll applaud you this podcast. So.
But Taika Waititi was in this one.
He was.
He said one word, which was? Anyone?
Tea.
Tea.
No, he said, would anyone care for some tea? And then tea.
Really?
And then I prepared second meal.
Oh, that's right. I prepared second breakfast. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He had a couple lines.
Yeah. I hope you got what you wanted.
Okay, so the episode starts with the Razor Crest flying, as they usually do these days. And a little Yodi is asleep in his box, and we get a Carl Weathers hologram where he's, hey, buddy, I'm alive. And if you're watching this, I guess you're alive too. So apparently, Werner Herzog and his stormtrooper guys have taken over the whole city, and it's fucking up the guild's business. So they see this guy as their enemy, and they can't get close to him. So they want Mando to come and with the child as bait, so they can get close to the guy, and then they want Mando to kill him. And then I'll solve everybody's problems, and his name will be cleared, and everything will be cool, and he'll make it worth his while, and give him some money, and all that kind of shit, right?
And you can keep Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and you can keep the child and all that good shit. So Mando turns around and looks at Baby Yoda, and I half expected him to go, "What do you think, Baby Yoda?" And Baby Yoda should have said, "It's an obvious trap, you rube."
A trap it is.
But he did not say that because he was asleep. So Mando sets his course, and we figure, oh, he's going back like a dumbass. But no! He goes back to the shrimp planet because he needs some muscle. So we see, it looks like the same hibachi grill in the middle of nowhere that she's fighting this dude in, okay? So I guess they moved some tables out of the way so they could have lightning belt fights or whatever the fuck was going on there. What?
Did you notice the subtle vignetting on this shot?
No, I wasn't paying
Slightly.
attention. I was taking notes this time. I just trying to keep up what's going on. I wasn't looking for
Yeah, the
film
shot where
stuff.
she's fighting, it's all vignetted the whole time.
well, might be a lens thing. I don't know. So yeah, so how do they pronounce her name? Kara or Kara? Kara. Okay, so Kara's in this hibachi bar, and she's fighting this guy who looks like a Dathomirian. Like he's got the horns and he's got some subtle tattooing on him and shit. But I thought I read somewhere he's supposed to be some other race. So I'm like, well, he looks like he's from Dathomir to me. So I could get really picky about the physics here again because it looks like their belt buckles are connected by lightning while they're fighting. But at one point the dude grabs it and pulls it like it's a rope, and I'm like, okay, how does that work? That's best not to think about it. And then later on, she does this cool flip move and shit, and then she's choking him with the beam of lightning, and I'm like, okay, I really need to know how this works. But once she's kicked his ass, he taps out on the belt and it turns off. And there's no cable, there's no rope, there's no nothing. So I'm like, okay, physics, fuck you. So anyway,
Star Wars physics, man.
she did do that cool flip move, which shows off her core strength. So way to go there, Gina.
Never skip core day.
So here was the first instance of the show where I definitely had to go to subtitles. Because she says, I thought she said, "Pay up, motherfuckers." But instead she says, "Pay up, mud scuffers." Okay? I want to know how many takes there were on that one. Pay up, mud scuffers, motherfuckers. Anyway. So, various people walk up and pay her money, and then she turns around, and there's Mando. And he's like, "Hey, you looking for work? Hey, hot stuff, you looking for work?" And little Yodi's walking behind him. So they sit down at the table, and they're drinking that fucking blue liquid. So I guess now everybody drinks that shit now.
It's not blue milk, though.
It's blue vodka. Yeah, shrimp vodka. I don't know.
Shrimp vodka.
And if you look between them, there's like a little plate on the table, and on it, it looks like those little fucking, I don't know what they're called, but they look like a little brown ball with stickers on them, and you see them outside in the fall. Dogs come in and they got them stuck in their fur and shit.
Oh yeah.
It looked like there was a plate of those on the table, and I was like, okay, is that a snack or is that like potpourri? What the fuck is that? Because that's exactly what it looked like. Anyway, yeah. So they're drinking this blue liquid and they're having some sticky things. And is it like what's in the center of a cotton thing? Raw cotton, maybe?
No,
I don't know.
it's a seed of its own.
Anyway, where am I? Oh, yeah. So he tells her the deal, and he's like, "Oh, it sounds like a pretty straightforward operation," and she should have said, "Dude, it's a fucking trap." Okay. So second opportunity for somebody to say, "Hey, you're fucking stupid." So at this point, the bad guy comes over. The guy she kicked, whose ass she kicked, comes over and pays her. And she's like, come back soon. So I guess that's all she's been doing since he's been gone, is kicking people's asses.
How long was he gone?
I don't know. I don't know how long it's been, really.
I saw an article, headline that said there's more time jumps in The Mandalorian than you realize.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I didn't go into it, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Well, yeah, I mean, if you just go by, like, running time in the show, you'd think it's been a couple days. But, I mean, Werner Herzog has clearly taken over that whole fucking city/planet. So it's like, okay, I mean, it's got to be a decent bit of time, And apparently, as we'll get to later, Nick Nolte had time to rebuild and completely teach IG-11 in a huge series of tasks set in a montage,
Yeah.
I mean, that might have taken a while.
Nick Nolte's planet is the planet of montages, apparently.
Yeah, montage planet.
Yeah.
Where did I go? My handwriting is very consistent and all in the one color, so I lose my spot. So she says, she can't go because if anybody scans her chain code, which is apparently your social security number in Star Wars, she'll be put in a cell. And he's like, well, I thought you were a veteran, because like we talked about how we didn't know if she was a deserter or if she quit or what.
She's got the jumper tattoo.
Yeah, because she was a soldier. But what happened after? Did she leave? Did she quit? Did she get fired? We don't fucking know. But she says, yeah. So he says, I thought you were a veteran. And she said, well, I am, but I've done a lot of shit since then, and most of it could get me a life sentence. So apparently she's been up to no good. So, she's not like a refugee on the run, AWOL and shit. She got out honorably, but she's been up to no good since then. So she doesn't want to get caught. And he's like, well, I got a ship. We don't have to book passage or anything. No problem. I'll take you. Will you help me with the job? I'll bring you back and give you some money. She's like, no, I don't think this is for me. And he goes, well, he's an Imperial. And she goes, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
You son of a bitch.
I'm in. So now they're flying, okay? And they're back on Razor Crest and they're flying, and they both go downstairs and to look at the guns, right? And
they make the mistake of leaving Baby Yoda up there alone.
He opens his weapon locker and he says, pick one, and she just starts fucking taking them all off. I thought that was funny. I expected him to go, hey, whoa, I said one, damn it. But she's like a kid in a candy store.
His rifle still wasn't there, though. At
one point, she looks at him and says, hey, he's all right up there by himself, right? He goes, oh, yeah, it won't be a problem. So they're down there and, talking about the job and shit. You see little Yodi's head pop out from the upper part. I guess, he's wanting to see what they're up to. So then he disappears again. And... So all of a sudden the ship starts rocking like they got hit by an asteroid or something. And I thought this was kind of a missed opportunity for, as it's rocking back and forth and they're getting tossed around. I thought it would have been cool if they got flung across the ship and ended up in each other's arms kind of thing. And, for a split second she looks at him and he kind of pushes her away and she gets a smile on her face or something, But they didn't do that. It looked like she was going to fly across at him, but then the angle changes and she just hits the wall as he's going to climb up the ladder. And I was like, aw, god damn you. Anyway. So they get up to the bridge and little Yodi's trying to fly the ship.
It's working.
And Kara,
Pilot I am.
And Kara says, yeah, we need a babysitter for this little shit.
Yeah.
So So,
I know a guy.
yeah, Mando gets the ship under control and he sets a course. So we're going back to Blurg World.
I have spoken.
So
This is the way. Yeah, so many just taglines in this. I've spoken. This is the way.
So they get to Blurg World and they set her down there in Nick Nolte's front yard. And apparently Yoda's little light box floats. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's just I guess that's what the controls on the box are for. When the yellow light's on, it's like don't float.
Yeah. All of
Charging mode. It doesn't float in charging mode.
The buttons on every small object are just the levitation
To make it float.
control. Yeah.
Because everything floats.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Well,
how.
everything has buttons, so
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so they hook up with Nick Nolte and they go into his little igloo there, and they start talking about shit, and so Nick Nolte says something about he hasn't grown a whole lot, and Mando says something about I don't know, it seems like he's
Strand cast
or something, and Nick Nolte says, no, I used to work in some cloning shit, and he doesn't look engineered to me. He's too fucking ugly. So then he looks over at Kara and he says, but this one, she looks like she was grown in a site of Cave Nora, and that's all he says. And it's like, okay, so he implied that Yoda couldn't be genetically engineered because he's too ugly. But she clearly had to been because what? She's the bomb diggity, I guess. That was a Star Wars compliment there. Anyway, yeah. So I guess he was trying to say she's super hot. They grew her in the stripper cave of Cyterac. I have spoken, bitch. Yeah.
Stripper caves on
So
Mos Eisley.
we find out a little bit about his backstory. Apparently, he fought on the Imperial side because he was an indentured servant or slave or something like that. And
a ton of Ugnaughts or whatever he is, they worked in industrial plants for the Empire.
Right. But he made it sound like he was an indentured servant, not like taken as a slave and then they rose up and rebelled. But he made it because he said he paid off his debt. So I don't know what the deal was or why he was indentured to them, but yeah. So he's like, it took me 3. Oh, here we go. It took me 3 of your human lives to do it. So they're humans, okay? They're clearly humans. Now, this is a galaxy far, far away a long time ago, but they're humans. So I guess they speak English.
They speak human.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. So they are humans, huh?
They speak common.
They speak Carillion.
Yeah. So, but he's like, so I paid off my debt. Now I don't serve anybody. I do what I want. I'm fucking Steve McQueen. I answer to nobody. So then IG-11 walks in with a tray full of drinks, and everybody freaks the fuck out. So
would anyone like some tea?
They all hop up with their guns and shit. So naturally, this causes a whole lot of shit to happen. Okay, so Mando's pissed off because that thing's programmed to kill a child, and Nick Nolte's like, well, not anymore because I found it and I did it. And then we get another fucking montage of this flashback of him going into the Westworld town, and he finds IG-11, and he takes him and he reprograms him and fixes him and all this shit, and he teaches him how to fucking pick up glasses. Why, I don't know, but you see him break shit and do comical stuff and pour slop on the ground and all this kind of shit to again insinuate the passage of time. It's like, oh, okay, well, all right then. So we get this sort of uneasy kind of Mando doesn't like droids and he doesn't approve of it, but Nick Nolte's like, well, look, man, he's cool. I'll program him to watch the little guy and I'll go with him and blah blah blah, so I've spoken. So Mando he wanted Nick Nolte, and Nick Nolte was kind of like, yeah, I'm retired, bitch. But now he's kind of like, well, look, I'll program the fucking droid, and it'll be cool, and stop stressing, and I'll go with him, and I'll go, and everything will be fine. You'll see. So, and I'm taking my blurgs.
Yeah.
Mando's like, what? What?
I have spoken.
Yeah, I've spoken, bitch. That's the end of it. So they're going along simply to protect Baby Yoda, and they're taking blurgs, okay?
Blurg.
So I guess they're on the way to Dave Navarro World. And to pass the time, Mando and Cara are arm wrestling, all right?
That's what kids are calling it nowadays, huh? Yeah, I know they're actually
they were clearly arm wrestling, Jack.
This is a joke.
Yeah. This is the scene where things get interesting.
Yeah. So they're arm wrestling and they're taunting each other, and Lil Yodi gets the impression that she's fighting him or hurting him in some way. So he starts choking her with the fucking Force, okay? Now, this kind of...
still there.
What?
Midichlorian's still there.
Well, yeah, he can use the Force, okay? So this kind of takes me back to, I think it was chapter 2, where I said, okay, all this shit's going on, and Baby Yoda's just sitting there looking and watching, and he seems kind of cool with Mando disintegrating Jawas and all this shit, and he picks up the mud horn, which is just defending its home, and holds it for Mando so he can walk up and kill it and shit. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, I mean, he's young, so maybe he is a bit morally ambiguous. He's kind of like, well, whatever. This is my friend. Fuck you.
He's protecting me.
So,
might as well protect him.
So he starts choking her with the Force, and it's like, holy shit, man. None of that light side, dark side stuff. He just like, well, I do what I want, bitch. I heard Nick Nolte talking about how you don't answer to no one, so neither do I. So anyway, yeah. So Mando's like, no, stop. She's my friend. And as soon as he lets go, Kara's like, that shit's not cool, man. What the fuck?
That is not okay.
Yeah, that shit's not okay. And, so I don't know what I meant by this note here, so I'm going to skip it. So again, there's some arguing and shit, and Nick, somehow out of that conversation, we end up with Nick Nolte building an egg, a new he's taking the box and making it into a new pram bassinet kind of thing.
More comforting.
Yeah, more comfortable. Yeah. He should have said, "Hey, could you have something with some fucking doors so we can hide this sumbitch?" Yeah, that's what he should have said.
Lock him in there.
No, he's just like, "Could you just make it more comfortable for him?
Could you put a mattress topper in there?
Hey, could you make some pillows and stuff?
Maybe a little mobile.
Yeah.
Little Baby Yoda.
Well, I already shaved the blurgs. It'll be 10 more years before they grow some hair, so I can't make any pillows. So again, we get Cara and Mando on the bridge, and they're talking about the plan and stuff, and this, the guy who's in power and all this shit, and she thinks there's something bigger going on. Mando's like, well, it's kind of cut and dry, but she's like, something bigger going on, and she's cleaning guns the whole time because she's Sarah Connor, now. Right. So she insinuates that she thinks there's something bigger going on than just what he sees. But anyway, IG comes in because he made second breakfast, and Mando's all like, I'm not hungry, fuck you.
I don't eat food from droids.
Right. So I've been confused the whole time about what people's jobs are on this job, okay? Because, Carl Weathers was like, you come, you bring the kid as bait, we go in, we get close, you kill the guy, boom. And then he goes and gets Cara, and then he goes and gets Nick Nolte, and I'm like, okay, so Nick Nolte and IG are supposed to watch the kid, and I guess he brought Cara. What did we say? Cara. So I guess he brought her for muscle, but I thought she was supposed to watch his back. But when they get there, everybody just goes.
Yeah,
and it's like. I guess the plan was they were all just going to walk in together. And I'm like, well, that doesn't fucking... You need to be strategic about this shit. Mm-hmm. So first of all, it seems like it's a trap to me. And then second of all, he gets some people and then everybody's just going to walk in the door together. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, okay?
Well, I mean, I think the whole plan revolved around them getting close enough for him to take her and Herzog out.
Right.
But to do that, they would need the child to get in that close.
Right.
I think, but that's why everybody had to have gone, because once they got in with little baby Yoda, then it turns into, okay, Nick Nolte and IG keep him safe while Kara.
I figured maybe you have somebody in a sniper position and you have somebody in the, somebody watching you, but no, it was like, we'll just all walk in together. It just didn't, I don't know. That kind of struck me as weird. So they land, right? And they come out on the blurgs. And there's Carl Weathers and 3 dudes standing in the middle of fucking nowhere. Okay? So, I thought it was kind of a shit that one of those random bounty hunters with him wasn't a woman. I was kind of like, oh, they should have had a female bounty hunter. Anyway.
No, they do their strong female characters in movies.
I guess. So anyway,
yeah, because okay.
So Carl Weathers is like, so where's the kid? And they see the egg, but Mando floats it over there and opens it up, and so we see little Yoda is in the egg, and Carl Weathers picks him up and he calls him a bogwing or a bogwig. Okay. So is that like a term of endearment or a little nicknamey kind of thing? Like, look at this little rugrat or something.
Yeah.
Or
no,
that's not what the species is called. Huh? It's not a bogwig.
Yeah,
No.
I think it's the equivalent of calling something a womp rat.
Maybe it is a bogwing.
Or a rugrat or something.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, but I wanted to note
Ankle
it and be
biter.
like, okay, do we think this is some kind of official thing or not? Okay. So anyway. At this part, it seemed to me like, I mean, I really like Carl Weathers in this show, but this episode, like during the hologram and then in this scene, his dialogue seems really clunky.
Yeah.
His delivery seems real clunky. Like he doesn't. I mean, I loved the Deborah Chow episode, but the only thing I could think is, maybe the direction wasn't that great. He didn't know what to do with it or something. It just seemed really delivered weird. I don't know.
Are you talking about him at the campfire or still
while they're standing there? This whole thing with Yoda, the initial meetup, and then in the hologram too. It just.
I definitely get the hologram.
His line deliveries were weird. It was kind of strange. Like he didn't know if he was supposed to emote, if he's supposed to talk normal with this guy. It's like he was just reading the shit. And I don't know. I don't want to blame Carl for it, but I don't want to blame her for it either. I don't know. It was just weird. It was strange. Okay. So they're like, well, I guess we'll head back to town. We can get pretty far, but we're going to have to camp overnight. So they start walking. And so Carl Weathers and these 3 dudes didn't have a speeder? What, they walked all the way out there?
I was thinking that too.
What the fuck? That didn't make any damn sense to me. Like so they're going to walk for a good while, then they'll have to camp, and then they'll walk some more. So in theory, Carl Weathers and his guys left the city, walked, had to camp, and walk some more to meet Mando. Why didn't they take a fucking speeder or something?
Maybe they could have been tracked. Maybe they were thinking like, man, all the speeders now, since this is a stormtrooper city, since it's full of stormtroopers now, they're tracking everybody, having to scan cards to get out of the building.
I don't know. It's been my understanding in the Star Wars universe that in order to track you, someone has to sneak a tracking device onto your Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
So can't Carl Weathers just have a cool speedster in the garage and they can, sweep it for bugs? Oh, it's cool. All right, let's go. I mean, what the fuck, man? How are you going to walk for a day and a half, wait for these assholes, and then walk a day and a half back? It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. They didn't have backpacks. They didn't have provisions. They didn't have shit. What the hell? Anyway.
Also, is it just kind of assumed that Mando called him and said that he was coming?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's assumed that he's
in
like...
his hologram, did he say, meet me at such and such location? Because if not, then he would have had to
radio him and send him an email or something.
then Carl Weathers could say, "Meet me out here in this random ass place where I have to camp on the way because I'm gonna walk."
Yeah,
And that would have been a red flag.
in our super comfortable Star Wars boots.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just take the Razor Crest there, or at least close?
Well, see, because you've got the Western aesthetic. It's the same thing with the fucking Jawa episode. It's like, Nick Nolte's like, "Oh, I know what you're looking for, and I know where it is. But let me take a while to train you how to ride a blurg out there." Well, I got a fucking spaceship. Nope, you got to ride a blurg because it looks more like a Western, and that's what we're doing here, motherfucker. So it's the same thing with this. We got to camp somewhere. We got to have it. But yeah, we can't fly the fucking spaceship over there. They're not expecting us till tomorrow. What are we all going to do? Sit around and play cards? Fuck that. Let's walk, and then camp, and then walk.
Be lots of fun, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's a fun.
Lord of the Rings
You
meets
son
Star
of a
Wars.
bitch, I'm
It's
in.
more of a westerny kind of thing. So we needed a campfire shot, and they even showed us the initial campfire, and then backed out for a really nicely framed wide shot, and then went back in. Anyway, so yeah,
I just think that was a weird edit.
Yeah, have the close up and then go back to the
look.
wide.
I said something when we were watching it, when you were rewatching it. I was like, okay, it's there on the medium, and then it goes out to this really wide shot for a second for no reason, and then it comes back in, and I was like, what do you think that shot
It's
cost?
the West.
Just to do that shot, just to set everything up, way the fuck back out there to take that one. What do you think that cost, huh? I mean, damn, and it was completely unnecessary. But anyway, all right,
Pretty shot, but not needed.
So it's pretty funny. We see him walking across the lava fields, and we see this like hairless goat on top of a pile of shit. And then it cuts to nighttime around the campfire, and there's a roast goat over the fucking campfire. It's like, hey, a goat. Oh, hey, a goat. Yeah.
I want to. We said something about this in one of the past podcasts where, like, every planet has like one climate area.
Right.
This one, you actually see different climates and stuff like that. So I'm like, huh. That was like the first thing I noticed.
Different topography kind of thing. You know.
Like you got different topography and stuff like that.
You
like,
got a field of lava. You got a desert city. You got a I mean, that's cool.
some variety for once.
Interesting. So they're all hanging out in the camp, sitting around, eating goat. I always think it's funny when you see these things because they always show like a complete animal roasting over the spit, but everybody is cleaning their plate and has a bone in their hand and shit. And it's like, okay, what did you guys eat? Because that thing looks whole.
Yeah.
What the? What?
It's like, did you guys already kill one?
You guys already
Like,
ate one, and
you
you've been roasting the
smashed
second one. What the fuck?
Yeah, they're getting
Also-
breakfast ready for tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
isn't it just so convenient that they find a fucking goat out in the middle of like what we assume is nowhere?
Yeah. I mean, there was one out there. I don't know what he
Yeah.
was doing, but
Dave Navarro placed
He
it
was
for him.
hiding from the giant raptors.
praise Dave. Yeah, for your hairless goat. Dave's hairless goats. So they're sitting around, and Mando wants to go over the plan again, and so they're talking and this, that, and the other, and I don't really recall what all the specifics were. I don't think it was that important, but Carl Weathers gets up to get him a second helping of goat. Right about the time a giant fucking pterodactyl comes out of the sky. What the fuck? Anyway,
It's like, how could we just cause fucking chaos right now?
So-
a fucking pterodactyl.
Thanks, John. You saved
So-
the day again.
so the giant pterodactyl comes out of nowhere and grabs a ham hock out of Carl's hand and tears his arm up in the process. And my girl Kara jumps up immediately with her fucking Terminator laser machine
Minigun.
gun, and she's just she's shooting
She's what?
everything.
She's what now?
Shut up. So there's this big kind of shootout thing where they're just blindly shooting at the fucking sky, and there's like a cluster of these fucking things. I don't know. I guess it was probably 3 or 4 of them coming down.
Cue Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Cave music.
That's what I thought at first. I thought
Yeah.
they were Minox, but they
Yeah.
weren't.
See, I thought somebody was gonna have a moment where they like shoot one single bullet, and you see all the light, and you see all the things, like all the little pterodactyls.
I thought it would have been cool if, like, when that first pterodactyl swooped in, if it made like the Minac noise, like
Dun,
the,
dun, 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 dun.
But so in the process, they lose 2 blurgs and one of the bounty hunters, and Carl Weathers' arm gets fucked up. Now, I'm going to point to you because the whole time, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but you've constantly wanted Carl Weathers to lose an arm.
Yes.
Because he loses an arm in Predator, and in Happy Gilmore he lost an arm. So when this happened, and Carl Weathers is there going,
I was going, yes!
Nate's like, yes! Cut it off! And so Cara runs over, and she takes out her Dr. McCoy whoop, 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 whoop thing, and she's like, oh, the poison's spreading. And Nate's like, yes! Yes! Cut it off! Yes! It's the only way! But no. So she whips out her med pack, and she starts doing what she can, and she's like, I need another med pack. Med pack. Anybody got a med pack? And the two bounty hunters are like, man, we didn't even have backpacks, man. I don't know. I'm totally unprepared for this shit. So at this point,
I'm getting excited.
At this point, yeah, Nate can see the dismemberment coming. And little Yodi walks over, and she's like, get the kid out of here. And of course, Nick Nolte's there. No, wait. And he puts his hand on him, and he heals his wound, just like we thought he was going to do to Mando in the Jawa episode, okay? So apparently, little Yodi can heal people, all right?
Boo!
So, well, we speculated before because we were like, okay, is this something that could be done? Have we ever seen? And that's when we got on the discussion of people in Star Wars are either completely alive and healthy or dead, okay? So we were trying to think of instances where it's like, okay, is there ever been a point in the past where somebody was wounded and a Jedi could have healed them and they didn't, or maybe they just have that opportunity? So apparently this is...
Oh, I was going to say episode 1.
Oh,
episode 1.
I feel like
The Phantom Menace?
I feel like Obi-Wan may have been able to save Qui-Gon.
Ah.
Yeah, but see, like, he didn't.
Yeah.
Is that because he didn't know how to do it?
Or
Is
did
that
they just not
because-
establish that fact that Jedis can
No,
do it?
I don't
Well,
think
see-
I don't think that he
Yeah.
knew how to do
So
it.
I'm like, so then I was thinking, okay, maybe this is just a Yoda species thing. So then I was like, okay, let's think about stop fucking looking at me like that. We're not talking about it.
But
so
they can't see us. They can't see us.
I know, but I can. So stop
Okay.
it, because it makes me think you're gonna fucking say something. So I was of the opinion that maybe it's just a little Yoda thing, Yoda species. So I started thinking back. Okay, when has Yoda been in an instance where somebody was laying there gravely injured? And did he walk over? Did he have a chance to walk over and do a fucking Mr. Miyagi thing? Nah, but he hadn't. So I was like, okay. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is just a Yoda species thing. All right.
Yeah, I think that Yoda's species is like very few and far between, but
Right.
when one pops up, it's like automatically. I think it's just like a force sensitive race, and I mean,
seen 3 of them.
I totally see that, because if they're like really rare throughout the galaxy, it's just like, yeah, they're all force sensitive. That's why they're so rare,
Well, that's why I was thinking, okay, maybe this is just something he can do.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he knows he can do it because he was going to try to do it to Mando. So he does it. He heals Carl's arm, and everybody's like, what the fuck? What?
Is that the first time he'd done that?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was going to do it to Mando's arm in the
But
Jawa
then-
episode, but
Yeah.
Mando's like, oh, hey, get back in the egg.
Man, shut it up.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the next day, and they get to town. So at this point, Carl Weathers shoots the other 2 bounty hunters. Because he says, okay, I got to tell you something. I got to be honest with you. We were going to kill you guys and take the kid.
Yeah.
But after he healed me last night and all this crazy shit, I guess I'm just a good guy now. But
At that point, Carl Weathers' heart grew to 10 times its normal size.
I was going to say he was now all of a sudden the warden from the Green Mile.
yeah. but they're pissed off, and he's like, hey, look, go ahead and shoot me. Go ahead and shoot me. I don't care. It wouldn't break the code. But he's like, I guess he's one of those kind of, seeing's believing, and now he's a reformed man.
He's like,
so,
and this is my application for the New Republic Avengers.
So you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Son of a bitch.
So Carl's officially on the New Republic Avengers team now. So they form a new plan, okay? And finally, Kara says, dude, it's a trap. Okay? But Quill decides he's going to take Yodi back to the Razor Crest.
And lock it down.
And they're going to take the little egg thing to make the guy think that Yodi's in there. And they're going to make it out like Carr captured him and brought him to Carl Weathers. And they're going to walk in there and be like, hey, cool, look, we got him, all right? Here's the girl who got him. We're going to pay her and everything's going to be cool, right? So they walk down to the city. Mando puts his cuffs on and gives his blaster to Carl. And they walk down to the city where there's two indoor scout trooper, speeder bike trooper guys standing there, right? So the guy's like, give me your chain code. And Carl Weathers has to take out his credit card, his library card, and show it to him. Yeah. And the guy picks up his D-cell flashlight and scans it. Now that seemed kind of weird to me. I was like, couldn't you just pointed it at that dude and picked up the card on him somewhere and know who he is? No, you have to have it there for the light to shine on it. I don't know.
Man, they carded Carl Weathers.
Yeah, they carded
license registration. All right, I'm gonna go to my car and type this information, and I'll be right back.
So, yeah, I don't know how old Carl Weathers is, but I guess he looks good enough to where he had to be carded. So they make it in, and they're walking down the street, and there's fucking stormtroopers everywhere. And Carl's like, 4 dudes, huh? 4. And he's like, look, okay, so I said there's be 4 inside with the client. So there's more outside. Big fucking deal. And she's just like, this deal keeps getting worse all the time.
I've altered the deal.
Yeah. So she's kind of like the voice of reason in this episode. I loved it. She's like, dude, it's a trap. What? Who the fuck is this guy? This is fucking stupid. You guys are, I thought it was pretty cool. So she was there to be the, huh?
That was weird.
Yeah, I think it was, it peaked out. So I think it kicked in a limiter or something. So they go to a new restaurant in town, and they walk in, and there of course there are Shoney's booths.
Was it a new restaurant?
Yeah,
I don't think we'd seen that place before.
Oh, okay.
Or was it the place where Mando met
Carl
Weathers?
No.
Okay.
No, because
place.
it was different because the booths were against the wall and shit.
The bar was okay.
Was the bar like kind of situated in the same place though?
It was
similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, like the place where he met Carl Weathers, there was like a bigger thing to walk down, and then
then you had the back room.
Yeah.
And Carl Weathers' booth wasn't against the wall, and
it's like a freestanding booth.
So anyway, so they go in there, and Werner Herzog's there, and there are 4 stormtroopers. Okay,
At the moment,
no big deal. So old Werner Herzog's like, hey, you guys want some drink? Would you like some libations to celebrate our arrangement or some shit, So they're all going to sit down and have drinks. At which time more stormtroopers walk in. So every beat, old Carr is like, God damn it. She looks at Carl Weathers like, you fucker, I swear to Christ. What do you want to say?
I was going to say, wouldn't it have been great if the drinks he offered was the fucking blue vodka?
Yeah,
it's like, this is a galactic drink.
This is some new stuff from a shrimp planet. It comes in a small package.
A delicacy.
Corellian vodka.
So
because everything's Corellian.
So he before they sit down, he's admiring the Beskar, and he's talking about some Mandalore shit, and so then they do sit down, and he starts asking, why did Mandalore resist the Empire? It is better everywhere, So I was talking about how great the fucking Empire is, and how everything's great when the Empire's wrong, blah 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 blah. Werner Herzog's really great. I'd love for him to read audiobooks because I'd buy all of them. I could just listen to his voice. He says everything so sinisterly about the packages, and anyway, so he's like, I want to see the baby. And Carl Weathers like, oh well, he's sleeping right now, he got his blankie. And Werner Herzog's like, it's cool, we'll all be really quiet, open the goddamn egg.
So, just open the goddamn egg.
Yeah. So Carl's like, oh shit. His facial expression clearly says, oh damn, we're busted. We done fucked up. But some stormtrooper walks over and goes, oh, sorry, you got an emergency call. So he's like,
actually, he goes,
yeah. He says something like an urgent call or something like that. I could kind of make it out. So So old Werner's like, you must excuse me, I have to take this call. It's my old lady. She wants me to get milk. So anyway, he walks over and the stormtrooper opens a big, thick fucking HP laptop, and the little hologram comes out, and it's Giancarlo Esposito. Finally.
Yeah.
What?
Like when he was just there, I was like, Gus, motherfucking Fring.
Yes.
It's always Gus.
Los pollos hermanos.
Just like awesome.
Yeah. So he's playing Moff Gideon, I guess is his name. Gideon's his name. He's not a Grand Moff like Tarkin, but he's a Moff, so he's pretty close. He's in charge of a lot of dudes.
Well, can't there only be one Grand Moff?
I don't know.
Oh.
I have no idea. I've always kind of been wondering, and we brought this up in the Rogue One thing when we were talking about Purina logos, about whether they have different branches. Like if there's Navy, is there Army, is there, so I mean, maybe each division could have a Grand Moff, but I don't know. Anyway, what? Okay.
Something we can't talk about.
Oh, okay.
Is there a Grand Moff at this point?
Well, Tarkin's dead.
We don't know.
But
and plus the Empire is dead.
After
So.
Tarkin,
didn't it go to Redhead Kid?
what?
Well,
What
no.
the fuck are you talking about? Redhead Kid.
In Force Awakens.
No.
At this point, we don't know that guy.
Hey, Jack,
exists.
Tarkin dies at the end of episode 4.
Right.
So I'm thinking of episode 5. All there was generals and admirals.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that there are generals and admirals makes me think that there are different branches.
Yes.
Okay. But I don't remember any. I mean, when in Empire, it appears that Vader's fucking in charge. Period. He's the head of the fucking military. Under him is just admirals and generals, and then you don't hear anything about anybody in Jedi. So that maybe there wasn't another. Maybe there wasn't anybody after Tarkin. That's a position that was not filled.
Nobody could fill those shoes.
They just didn't have administrative time to do interviews and fucking get
Promotional
people out
paperwork.
to the command ship so they could do a sit-down interview. And
I mean, we're already over halfway done with this Death Star thing.
Gina and HR was on vacation, and Jessica was covering her stuff, but Jessica doesn't know the software for the.
Plus, there's no money in the budget to have a promotion right now. So it's
Jesus
just easier to
Christ.
have
So
Vader.
we're having to cut overtime.
Right.
and-
So, anyway, yeah. So, in the hologram, Gideon's like, so, do they have the kid? And Werner Herzog's like, yes, the baby is sleeping. And Gideon's like, yeah, you might want to double check that shit, stupid ass. And immediately, people start shooting through the window, and everybody in the room gets shot.
Well, I was going to say, before they start shooting up the window, don't you get a shot? No, they shoot up the window, and then you get the shot of the Death Troopers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Krennics.
after. Hang on.
Okay.
The shots come through
I
the
couldn't-
window, and
I-
we don't know what's
okay.
going on, right? So Werner Herzog and his stormtroopers all get shot, but our heroes manage to duck behind a fucking cast iron table, apparently, because they don't get shot. So all the shots had come through that window, and when the smoke clears and you see through the window, it's a big line of Krennic's Death Troopers from Rogue One. So
Finally, they get to be badasses.
well, okay, so now are we gonna well, all those dudes die on what's the name of that planet in Rogue One at the
Scarif.
end? Scarif. So all those dudes die on Scarif. So I'm guessing high-ranking dudes get their own fucking Death Troopers. It wasn't just a Krennic thing.
What rank was Krennic? Or was he just a
Director?
science officer?
Director Krennic.
Yeah. Well,
So-
see, I'm wondering if it's just, well, I don't know if those special guards, like, maybe they're just meant to guard, like, people who are in charge of, like, high
They
development
don't
projects.
seem like guards. They seem like special
Or like
forces
a
guys.
detail, you
right?
know?
But I'm thinking you have to be a high up guy in order to command one of those details.
Yeah, or just, like, somebody of, like, very important, like, high significance, you know? Like, Krennic was developing the fucking Death Star,
So-
and now this guy is
so we can
obviously doing
assume
something with Yoda.
This guy's probably important.
Yeah.
Like more important than just a General Veers kind of guy.
Yeah,
you
like-
know? This
like-
guy's probably pretty fucking important.
I would put my money on he's, like, in charge of the campaign or the project that's, like, revolving around little baby Yoda. You know, like
for sure.
Like you know,
he's
like
the one who says like, I want it, and you don't understand how
You
bad
have
I want it.
something
like
I
he's
want.
like he's like the mastermind behind whatever cloning or
Right.
midichlorian harvesting.
Right. So
That baby knows how to cook blue meth. I want that baby.
so the Jesus. So the Death Troopers are out there.
Croak I must.
And a transport pulls up, and a bunch more stormtroopers get out. Now, you children won't see any significance in this, but when I was a kid, okay, and the Star Wars toys came out and stuff, I had the little Millennium Falcon. I don't think I ever had an X-wing. No, because that same year I got a Buck Rogers Starfighter. I didn't get an X-wing. I always wanted a TIE fighter. I didn't get a TIE fighter. But they put out this toy, which was this fucking troop transport thing, okay? And you put your stormtroopers in these little compartments on the side, okay? And it didn't come with stormtroopers. You had to buy like 8 fucking stormtroopers to make it look cool. But anyway, but you never saw this fucking thing in any of the movies or anything. So I was like, well, that's weird. They designed this toy that's not in the movie. Well, that's the fucking transporter that pulls up. Was this toy we had that was, I never got one, but it was out there when I was a kid, and I was like, well, that's neat, and we've never seen it. So I think they kind of were like, hey, Easter egg, let's throw this fucking transporter in there. So I thought that was pretty cool, okay? Old people, there you go. Let's see. So, so all of these troopers show up. So Mando gets on the comm link to Queel, and he's like, look, get out, take the kid, go back to the ship, take off. We're pinned down. We're not going to make it. Get him out of here, right? Well, the 2 gate troopers lounging around on their speeder bikes out by the gate.
Having some coffee,
They intercept this transmission, and they think, oh, somebody's on the run. We should go get him. So at this point, Nate was like, well, how do they know what the fuck to look for? And I was like, well, they probably just took off and used their scanners to look for something, right? Mm-hmm. So they're in the middle of the fucking desert. Of course, a blurg with an Ugnaught on it is probably going to show up as something. So so they take off after Queel.
It's like, well, there's 2 blurgs out there.
Yeah, but I don't see any. The only one. They only had one blurg.
Well, I don't see any Ugnaughts.
So we get kind of a good bit of back and forth between the current situation with troopers showing up and Queel riding off and Mando hollering on the comm link back and forth, and he won't answer, and the speeders are chasing him, and blah 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 blah, until we hear the sound and this fucking TIE fighter comes out of the sky. Okay, now I thought this was super fucking cool because I'd never seen this shit before, and I didn't even know this could fucking happen. But dude pulls his TIE fighter down, and the wings fucking close up and collapse, and the fucking thing lands on the ground, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, that's not how the toy worked, but I think this is pretty damn cool.
This was badass.
So I thought that was really awesome, and then it's followed with something stupid. Okay, the top hatch opens up, and then dude raises up out of it like he's on a little elevator or something, okay? Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of room in that thing. What is he raising up on?
His seat?
So his seat's hydraulic and lifts him out? Is that in a sort of menacing Bon Jovi coming out of the stage sort of way? I mean,
I was thinking
it's my life.
I was thinking the front should have opened up and like some of the controls be attached to the front.
Well, like a BMW Isetta?
Well, no, I think, definitely like top entry, because normally like the only other times that we've seen people load or unload a TIE fighter is when it's like docked in a Star Destroyer, right? And then it's like hanging from the ceiling, and then there's like a catwalk and
then you hop in and you're good to
go.
go.
I don't have a problem with the top hatch. I have the problem with the
raising up,
with the Taylor Swift coming out of the stage elegantly, sort of thing. I think he should have climbed out and been on like, don't look at me. Trouble getting out. That would have been funny, but anyway. So this guy raises up out of his TIE fighter, and
one thing I will say about this guy is I loved the mixture between like elegance and armor he had going on. Like he had that chest plate, but then he had like the nice kind of formal undersuit going on. Like, man, I was at a wedding, man, and now I gotta. Damn it all!
Well, I'm here to party, but I'm also here to look good.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that like really special high up people, I guess, get their own little fancy
fashion
costumes.
designers.
Yeah,
They all have their own Lenny Kravitz from
yeah.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Working on their image.
Krennic had that beautiful imperial wedding dress on.
Yeah.
His flowing white
long-ass
cloak.
train.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, I love that costume.
Anybody over a colonel gets a fashion consultant.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to go ahead and say your thing, or I don't know?
We're almost at the end. If
I
you
was
got
just gonna
something to say it.
Well, I was just gonna say you had a thing about where you think that Gideon has also been, or who you think he was, right? Didn't you say you thought he was the guy that walked up on?
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Cause like, do you guys think Gideon's the dude who walked up on quote unquote dead bounty hunter girl? I don't remember her name.
Ming-Na Wen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could be.
Why?
If he's following the trail of
Yeah.
Mando and Baby Yoda.
He's like hot on the trail now.
It's
But
a
if he
possibility.
followed the trail of Mando and Baby Yoda to Tatooine, he would have seen the Razor Crest there and investigated and found out that Yoda was in the hangar, and he would have just taken him. Why would he have fucking gone out to see what Mando and the other? Why would he? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to think there's something behind that maybe will come back in season 2. Something unrelated.
Maybe. When do we get episode 8? After Christmas, right?
Yeah, it's
the
Friday.
27th.
Yeah.
It's next. It's
Yeah.
Friday.
They'll probably wait until season 2 for the Boba Fett reveal. You're right.
Shit. Okay, so
I've jumped off that ship.
So dude raises up out of the TIE fighter, and again, my girl's like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Who is this guy?
Whose ship is this?
Whose ship is it? What's
He's
going
the most
on?"
powerful being in the galaxy. Owns tons of restaurants that serve
Yeah.
great chicken.
Oh my, can we stop with the Breaking? Unless it's like super clever Breaking Bad reference, don't do it.
Okay.
So this whole time, all this is going on. Mando is consistently trying to get Queel on the comm link.
Yeah.
And Gideon starts talking about how, hey, you guys, I really want that fucking kid. You can't understand how bad I want that kid. And he's like, pretty soon, it's going to be mine. You
Yeah.
guys are all fucked, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And so, intercut with this and Mando on the radio, we get these shots of Queel and the speeder bike troopers are chasing him down.
Yeah.
And it gets closer and closer and closer, and you see the ramp down on the ship, and he's just about there. And then the next scene you get is Baby Yoda laying on the ground, and it's like, what the fuck? And then the trooper scoops him up, and then you get a shot of Queel laying there, and he's smoking where they've gunned him down, and the Blurg's dead, and all that shit. So I guess what we can take from that is that Mando is now the proud owner of a IG-11 robot.
Yeah.
So the bad guy, they scoop up little Yoda. Our heroes are pinned down. Queel is dead. Susie the Blurg is dead, and
Not the Blurg.
And the bad
All
guys
three of them,
have
bro.
Baby Yoda and credits.
Yeah. I really liked that whole last little shot sequence, though. I really
It was
like.
edited really well.
Yeah, I think like
like
just
that.
all the dramatic cuts with that dialogue like over it. I was like,
perfectly.
man, this is I was like, man, this is like some really good.
I was
watching
watching first time I watched it was
assembling.
with my buddy JT, and he was like, when
Shout out to JT.
shout out to JT.
Is JT following us on Twitter?
Not on Twitter, but I think he's following on YouTube.
Damn it, JT.
He's subscribed on YouTube.
Hey.
Okay.
But anyway, we were watching it, and when he started doing the monologue, and it was all those cuts, and he was like from, I think it was from Incredibles. He was like, and he starts monologuing. And I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but he was in a good position to do a fancy ass monologue because he knew that he was gonna have it, and there's nothing they could do, and he could just stand there with his dick out. And be like,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, bitches? I won.
I also just really like when Mando's like freaking out desperately trying to get him on the comm link,
Right.
it really just kicked for me like how much he's changed over these 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Like he goes from being this really cold hard ass.
Right. Now he cares.
Yeah,
He's
now
got
he's-
friends.
yeah,
and he's worried
he's
about
like-
people.
Yeah,
and shit.
just like, man, this is so cool.
It's good
What
character
happens when you're a
I'm
parent?
totally behind this man. Like,
There's some good character growth here.
Yeah.
He's my Mandalorian.
So I mean, I liked this episode before Nate demands us to give it a letter grade. I liked it, but I also thought it was kind of stupid because at no point, I mean, this plan gets tossed around and changed a couple times, but at no point did it ever seem like a good plan or anything less than just a bloodbath trap.
Yeah.
There was no good version of it. Every version, he's like, I think it'll work. Let's do it. Okay, I'm on board. You son of a bitch. I'm in. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, this is dumb. You guys are all dumb. What are
Halfway
you doing?
expected Admiral Akbar to be there in the background, be like,
well,
"It's a trap."
Well, Carr says it at one point. Dude, this is a fucking trap, okay? The 3 times we talked about it before, I know I didn't say it, but this time I'm going to say it. This is a fucking trap.
Here,
Right,
let me
so
get my
walking
buddy
in.
on the line here. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
Hey, Admiral.
Admiral, it's Cara Dune. Could you tell this guy what you think of his plan? It's a trap.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
I'll call you later.
See, the guy who's a foremost expert on traps thinks it's a trap.
Like zoinks.
I mean, damn.
Like, zoink.
That was the thing that got me about it. I was like, couldn't you have come up with something that may have seemed... I mean, he should have been real hesitant at first. Somebody should have talked him into it. And then maybe he shows up and maybe he demands him to change a couple things. And then it's okay. But no, he's just on board with everything. I'm like, dude.
My problem with this episode,
Carl Weathers didn't lose an arm.
that, and
dismemberments.
and just like the 2 episodes before it, where the hell is the pulse rifle? Jesus.
Yeah, it's
I-
just gone. They lost the prop or something like that. I don't know.
I think it would have been great if when they opened that cabinet, and Mando says, "No, hold
He's
on,
sitting there with dust on it.
no." And Mando says, "Pick one." She closes the cabinet,
Where's the goddamn pulse rifle?
or something like that. And she kind of like
Looks
looks
over in
back,
the corner.
and she pulls it out, and he's like, "No, not that one."
She does the Christmas story. Hey, what's that over there behind the desk?
Yeah, something like that. At
The
least,
pulse rifle.
at least show us that it's still there.
I don't know what happened to it, man. Somebody stole that prop and they couldn't replicate it in time. I don't know. That shit's just gone. Gone. No more pulse rifle.
Somebody needs to tweet like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, just everybody who's directed an episode. Where's the pulse
Okay,
rifle?
when's the last time we saw it? Cara had it on the shrimp planet during the showdown, and then
That's
we
the
never
last
saw it
time
again.
Yeah,
Chapter 4.
yeah, chapter
Yeah,
4.
and then we never saw it again.
That bitch broke it.
I don't know. Maybe she kept it. I don't
No,
know.
But she would have
no,
had it then if she kept
she
it.
gave it back to Mando at the end
Yeah,
of that
he puts it
episode.
on the sled, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it must have fallen off the sled.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's a bummer. R.I.P. Pulse Rifle. But see, like I was saying, why couldn't she have been in a sniper position with the fucking pulse rifle? She's good with it.
He trusts her with
He
it.
trusts her with it. Why couldn't that have been? No. Everybody walk in the same fucking door. It doesn't matter how many guys we bring. We're all putting them in the same fucking door. Nobody's gonna be backup team B or anything like that. No sniper positions. Nope.
We won't need it.
I'm gonna assemble a team and then I'm gonna line us all up so they can shoot us in the head. Damn. I thought my plan would have worked, guys. I guess it was kind of stupid. It was a trap. Anyway,
Cara's last words were, "This is a trap."
I know her last words were, "Who the hell's this guy?" Yeah, that's the last thing she said. So we get one more episode, guys. Ooh, we got to wrap up what's happening. It's not like we resolved something and now we just got to wait to see what the next episode. We know where they're at. We know what they got to deal with. What do we think's gonna happen?
Rescue mission.
Well, of course it's going to be a
From
rescue.
who?
Baby Yoda. They're going to try and rescue Baby Yoda.
Well, of
Who?
course.
The prisoners? I mean, they're
See, this
they're
is where I think the bad guy or Bill Burr and his team are going to come in handy. Like
they're in prison, dude.
No, yeah.
They're not going to show up.
they're gonna get put on the same little because they're going to jail. The three of them.
Yeah,
If they don't get shot.
That's a New Republic
yeah.
prison. These are Empire guys.
Pay
Empire, that's
attention,
right.
Jack. Damn.
Sorry, I'm just trying to piece things together.
Nope. Peace again, brother.
So
Give me a second. Come back to me.
So, with them being Imperial prisoners, potentially, we could possibly see Mando without his helmet.
Ooh, you think this is where we're
They're
gonna get
take
to
his
see
helmet off of
Pedro?
him?
Maybe. I don't know.
The final episode would be the time to pull that shit.
Or what could possibly happen is we see Gina Carano grab a thermal detonator. We don't exactly see her put it back, but she grabs that big minigun too. So maybe she has that thermal detonator.
Yeah, she's
and
gotta
just
have one on her.
Holding a thermal detonator.
and just lobs it out the window. Like Mando's like, I didn't see you grab that. Well, are you
but
mad?
that's not going to do anything.
Well, it's gonna blow a ton of people out of the way, especially
Couple.
if she
There's like 60 dudes there.
that idiot left his fucking TIE fighter open. She could lob it in there and kaboom, use it like a fucking bomb.
I think they're definitely gonna get away. I just don't know.
By they, do you mean Mando and them?
No,
bad
I
guys
think
of the
Moff
Empire.
Gideon's gonna get away with Baby Yoda.
You know
Yeah.
what? It's going to be a fucking end of Fellowship.
Yeah.
Where the bad guys are going to take off Baby Yoda, and they're going to be like, the Fellowship has failed, but we will not leave Baby Yoda to torment and death. And they all slap on their Gondor greaves, and they jump back in the Razor Crest and take off. And it's going to be Mando and Cara and Carl Weathers and IG-11, and they'll bury Quill out in the desert with the Blurg.
Like they buried Dobby in the sand.
And they'll vow to get Baby Yoda back, and then that'll be it
And
for
then
season 1.
2 will be them rescuing.
Yeah,
Baby
I think
Yoda.
It'll
think
be
that,
like a final space ending.
I think
No, don't even fucking tell me that shit.
I think that the episode 8 or chapter 8 is going to start like immediately, like just pick up where
Like
it left
the
off.
speeder-
Oh yeah, it's a
Speeder
two-part.
troops
kinda
Yeah,
pick
thing.
like
up.
a scene of like the stormtroopers just pointing at the bar or whatever. And I think it's going to start off with Moff Gideon getting like a little comm link of, hey, we've got the kid. And then he leaves, and then it just becomes a shootout.
Wait,
See, I think that the trooper bikes are gonna pull, like the bike troopers are gonna pull up.
hang on. What if? I mean, we saw them going off into the distance. This could just be clever editing, right? But what if it starts and the troopers are pulling away from Quill's dead body, and IG-11 walks down the ramp and sees him and looks off and can scan and see that they have Baby Yoda, which he's been programmed to protect, and he grabs the pulse rifle and snipes those some bitches from 1,000 yards.
That'd
and
be cool.
goes
That'd
and
be
takes-
pretty badass.
and he has to come in and rescue all of them because, as we've seen in the Jawa episode, or the first episode, he's kind of bulletproof.
Initiating self-destruct.
And he does have the self-destruct, so he could go in there and sacrifice himself so they could get away.
Yeah.
And with it being
And it's a Taika Waititi episode.
So he will sacrifice himself.
I will be the hero in my episode.
Stop trying to self-destruct.
That's what we think's going to happen, guys. It's going to pick up there. IG-11's going to snipe those fuckers and get Baby Yoda. And he's going to wear him on his chest like a papoose. And they're going to go into battle. And Yoda's going to be flinging dudes. And IG-11's going to be shooting everybody. And they're going to rescue him.
Man, Baby Yoda's gonna get motion sick.
Baby Yoda's gonna be sitting on his shoulder.
Do you think by the end of the by the end of the last episode that Mando and the New Republic Avengers will be in possession of Baby Yoda?
See, they could wrap it up tidy and rescue him right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could piss us all off and do what I said before, where it's just, the bad guys get away, but our heroes get away too, but the bad guys are like, fuck it, we got Baby Yoda, let's get out of here. And so they go back to the ship and they bury Quill and they vow to go get him, and then that's it.
Yeah, the final
It
space
could go
ending.
either way. It could go either way.
I feel like if I don't know. I feel like if they were going to lose Baby Yoda at the end of the season, like this should have been the final.
This should have been
episode.
episode 8 then. Yeah.
Because it just makes me think like, okay, if Baby Yoda is eventually just going to leave off the season with Moff Gideon, like what is the final episode going to be about?
The odds are they get him back.
I think the odds are higher
that they get him
back. They get him back. Just because of like, well, what would the last episode be about? Them just crying because they lost Baby Yoda, or failing an attempt to get him back?
So this could just be like an evolution, because the whole point of them going there was to get rid of Werner Herzog so he would stop sending bounty hunters, and they wouldn't have to, and they could just relax with Lil Yoda. No one would be after him. But then they figure out, oh, well, there's this bigger dude who's after him. But instead of, Werner Herzog sending bounty hunters, now we know that there's this guy with stormtroopers and shit like that. So instead of the whole first season, the threat was bounty hunters and shit. Now, second season, they could get him back. But the second season then is set up as now they're fucking running from like a mini empire with TIE fighters and stormtroopers and shit like that. And so then the fight's going to have to be kicked into 12th gear.
Kick it into maximum overdrive.
Rick and Morty.
So then, man. An armada of Mexican bandits and then cats with. Anyway. So
space snakes.
Yeah, I agree with you. If they were just gonna have Baby Yoda end up with the bad guys in the season, this would have been a good place to do it. But since this isn't the end, they probably will get him back. But I don't expect them to deal with Giancarlo Esposito. He's going to be their big bad for season 2.
He's only in one episode on IMDb.
For now.
Well, yeah, for this season.
Yeah, but some people, they've been just one at a time episodes. Gina Carano's the only one where she's consistently said 3 episodes. Taika Waititi said 1. But he was in this one too, and he's going to be in the next one. So, I think they're just releasing some information about people slowly.
So you don't spoil it.
Yeah. So, I mean... Yeah, he's. I think he's going to be the big bad, at least at the beginning of next season, unless they want to say there's somebody above him, which it could be.
Hi, I'm IG-11. We're gonna save Baby Yoda.
I've made second breakfast.
Wanna come?
We're gonna get on the ship and go save Baby Yoda. Wanna
Want
come?
some eggs?
So, letter grade for this episode.
Jack first.
Yeah, Jack first.
Always Jack first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say an A.
Really?
Just straight up A.
Wow.
You're wrong. Anyway.
I thought Chapter 6 was better, so I'm gonna give this one a B.
I'm also going to go with a B.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I really liked Car in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But all the plans were so fucking stupid. B minus.
Oh.
Well.
Minus. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, some of the premises were just so dumb. I was like, well, come on. And maybe you could have done a couple more takes with Carl Weathers on some of those line reads. Give him a little more direction. I don't think he knew what to fucking do.
Yeah. Sorry we had to meet out here under such unfortunate circumstances, man.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm really starting to dig how the episodes build up to like a really dramatic moment that like so far has consistently been really well edited.
Yeah.
But I think in comparison, I really enjoy the control room scene from Chapter 6 more than I do.
Get out of my face, man!
Yeah. Oh my god, I love that so much. I like the tension in that scene more than I do like the tension at the end of this episode where they're doing those cuts back and forth with the dialogue over it. Yeah. I mean, it's really good. It's like super close for me, but I really do just love like the standoff with everybody pointing guns at each other. He's like, get that gun out of my face right now.
And then Pink Tonks just stabs the guy anyway.
Yeah.
What scene were you talking about in Chapter 6 where Bill Burr's gun switches sides?
It's when
he's going down the hall in
red
but
lights. I think it's when they've split up and Mando is hunting them down.
See, I rewatched it.
Yeah.
And I guess unless they're doing like they did with Game of Thrones, where it's like when people talk about little editing tricks.
There's 2 sections where Bill's walking around by himself. You gotta look at both of them.
I think I only paid attention to the red light one where Mando comes up behind him.
Well,
with the flashing red
look,
light.
we'll pull it up and look here in a minute, but I'm telling you, it went from one side to the other. But anyway,
Can we talk about a best kill in this episode, even though there aren't many? I mean,
if you have one, go ahead. Best kill, man. I don't know.
mine is gonna have to be the Carl Weathers whipping around, dual wielding and blasting both.
That was cool.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Because when I saw that, I'm like, dude, are those laser revolvers?
It was funny because he's walking with his hands on his guns in
Yeah.
the lead up to that, and I was like, he looks like he's about to do something.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really liked how it just out of fucking nowhere.
The space pterodactyl.
Well, no, just out of fucking nowhere. Werner Herzog gets this. Werner Herzog gets this fucking transmission, and dude's like, "No, you should probably check again."
Yeah.
Transmission cuts
Dumbass.
off, and then just, through
He
the
just
fucking
gets
window.
wasted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
But
like a Gus move too.
it really is.
enough with the Breaking Bad. The show's over. But yeah, in the Carl Weathers scene, I wish we could get a better look at those guns because
Well, maybe Adam Savage will do a YouTube video.
he better. I'm a huge fan of revolvers, and those look from the side view. They look like space revolvers, and I'm like, this really is a space western.
Space Western.
Of course there is, Morty.
revolver.
There's everything in space.
Is that a snake? How is there a snake in space?
There's everything
There's
in space.
literally everything, Morty.
Now get back in the fucking car.
Oh, damn. So, I guess, yeah, this is a pretty good episode. Like, anxious to see what happens in the next one.
The last one of the season.
For now.
Well, yeah, they are filming season 2. We know there will be a season 2.
Is Jon Favreau writing season 2?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is his
show.
thing. Yeah.
This is his baby, man.
It's his show. I saw Kevin Smith's been running around promoting his film, but he's back in town now, so he did an episode of his video podcast with Mark Bernardin, and this is the first time he's been on there in a while. And they didn't talk about The Mandalorian because he hasn't had time to watch the show, but he had gone to the Rise of Skywalker premiere, and so he saw Jon Favreau there, and he was like, "Dude, I haven't seen the show yet because I want to watch the whole thing, but I cannot avoid Baby Yoda, man. It's amazing. It's a phenomenon." He's like, "Who came up with that?" And Favreau was like, Me, motherfucker. He's like, you came up with that? He's like, yeah, it's my fucking show. I wrote this shit. He's like, man, that's amazing. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe,
Kevin Smith was
funny.
baked.
I thought that was funny. He was just like, who came up with that? Me? Hello?
Yeah.
Writer and creator.
You wrote that? Dude, yeah.
Created by Jon Favreau.
It's my
That,
show.
Written by Jon
that,
Favreau.
Well, I mean,
That
you
little
know.
frame at the credits, you know.
Baby Yoda created by.
To stand up for Kev, he has not watched it, so he doesn't know. But yeah, so he was just like, dude. Yeah, Favreau. Dude, me? What? Me? I can do stuff. I have talent.
I'm not just Iron Man, damn.
It's like, hey George, that Jar Jar thing just fucking revolutionary, man. Like, who came up with that shit?
That? Not me.
This guy Jon Favreau. Go find him.
Johnny Fabs. Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Steven said I should just put this really quirky alien in there. You know?
He
It's
said
all
it would be
Steven
like
Spielberg's
E.T.
fault.
Be like the next E E.T.
Misa always be right there.
Oh, that was funny in the last episode where Bill Burr said that. Did we
Oh,
mention?
yeah.
Are you a Gungan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
What,
a
you also
Gungan.
want to take your helmet off?
You said don't want to show your face? Damn.
Oh, damn. So, yeah, I guess that's all we have to say about it.
That's chapter 7. So,
The
Yeah.
next episode, which will be after Christmas. So,
Yeah.
hey, Scott,
Merry Christmas.
where can people reach us?
well, nobody's gonna reach us. It doesn't matter.
Hey, we had one guy do it.
Yeah.
Ya
well,
boy.
Yeah, we did have
Dog
ya
is a
boy.
weird word.
And
Dog
I
is a
got-
weird word.
So,
Have we
yeah.
gotten any more?
A couple.
Yeah.
Things. What else did he say the other day? He said, he wanted to know since we all love Jawa so much, what other side characters would we like to see show up on the show?
Ooh.
I said Chewbacca. Just give me fucking Chewbacca. But what do you guys think? So we got one episode left that we know is sort of compartmentalized. We know what it is. They're going to try to get Baby Yoda back, and they're either going to get him or they're not, but they're going to vow to that's what season 2 is going to be about. But in season 2, okay, this has been fairly successful, okay? Baby Yoda is a phenomenon. It's a big deal. It's probably going to make Disney a ton of money. They're all in on this Mandalorian thing. So season 2 could potentially be bigger and better. So if they're going to expand and do crazier shit, what do we, and we can really extrapolate on this when we do the next one for the last episode. But as far as this question about side characters, what do you think you want to see?
For you, does it specifically have to be Chewbacca, or can it just be Wookiees?
Yeah, see, I mean, I was like, well, okay. This depends. If this Mandalorian thing is going to go on and on and on and on, I wouldn't mind them getting their own Wookiee. Maybe a female Wookiee with some personality and some highlights in her fucking hair or something,
You really want another strong female character.
Well, why not? See, man, when I write my stories, I try to think of stuff gender neutral. I try to do the Alien technique where nobody has an assigned gender, and then as it progresses, kind of divvy it up half and half. Because
you could get Lando in this. He's gender fluid now, right? Or something like that.
He came back out and said, "No, I'm not. That was misconstrued."
No, just JKing, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, this would be 5 years after Jedi Lando. They couldn't get Billy D. Williams to pull that off.
Donald Glover.
Well, but he wouldn't look like Donald Glover.
Jesus, Jack.
You can age him up.
That'd
What?
be some suspension of disbelief unless they wanted to do some fucking crazy Disney magic on the faces and fucking try to morph the two together.
That's
You don't hire Donald Glover and then make it look like somebody else,
Yeah, that's like getting what's his face to be Han Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Oh yeah, him. Like,
Except the bad guy from Iron
bringing
Man
him
3.
back to be like an older Han Solo. Like why?
So anyway, but side characters. Yeah. So okay, I wanted Chewie to show up because he can. Okay, it's theoretically possible, but if this is gonna go on for 4 or 5 years, give them their own Wookiee. Why not? Fuck it. This is after the Empire. So in theory, the Wookiees would be free to do what they want. So they, maybe they would get one. I don't know. But I'm thinking, with Queel dead, I was like, okay, fucking Mando's got his co-pilot now. It's fucking IG. He's going to teach him, shit himself. And it's going to be his sidekick. And, will this car hang around or not? I don't know. But there you go.
I think it would be really easy for them to put small characters from the new trilogy in there.
Like who? Maz?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just like little side characters from the new trilogy that you don't really know too much about. I bet you could probably.
The new trilogy is 25 years after, so it's like.
But Maz has been around for thousands of years.
I know, that's why I said her, but I'm like, okay, who else though? Who could we really?
The giant slug.
Shut up! We're not talking about that movie.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
I'm really.
Well, okay, so
Can we include?
Okay. Laura Dern's character in Last Jedi, she would. How old would she have been? She could have been like teenage at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
She could be somebody.
I think just following the path that Disney has been taking, or just like the Star Wars spin-offs have been taking. I think it would just make sense for them to try and tie into the new trilogy because both Clone Wars and Rebels tied into Episode 3 and Episode 4 respectively.
Yeah, and they haven't done a super amount of tying in on this show. I mean, they've done some fan servicey stuff, and he went to Mos Eisley once.
Yeah.
But other than that, it seems pretty remote.
Would it be too fanboyish to be like, well, maybe they'll get Mark Hamill and he can
at
some point?
No.
No Skywalkers, you think?
Jack, shut the fuck.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm seriously trying to rack my brain here, thinking of like the only one I would really like to see besides Maz. You guys may say shut the fuck up, but I'm gonna say Asajj Ventress.
Shut the fuck up. Well, okay.
Isn't
now,
she dead?
Yeah.
Why are you saying yeah?
I thought she died in Clone Wars.
No, she's running around.
She helps Ahsoka through her trial, and then disappears. And I don't think we get any resolution on her. Now they're doing that next season of Clone Wars at some point.
Oh yeah, so we don't know.
Maybe we'll see her again, but we don't ultimately know her fate. I don't believe. So
Now, have they given any hints to what Clone Wars is going to lead up to?
Not exactly.
Revenge of the Sith.
Duh.
Episode 10.
No, I mean, in my head, I thought that like they'd already ended it right before Revenge of the Sith started, so I thought the new season would bridge the gap.
No,
then...
there's no.
Okay.
There's still shit to do, but I think they got canceled and had shit to wrap up. You know, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna do it like Rogue One, where it's like the last episode's gonna end fucking 5 minutes before the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
Well, Disney hasn't done that, but that has been done already. There was a little Cartoon Network Clone Wars miniseries where that's
not canon anymore.
It's not canon anymore. That's why I'm saying Disney hasn't done it, but it has been done.
But it's not canon, so they could redo it their own way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's hinting at or saying.
Well, yeah, I know. It's just I don't know how I feel about that because like some people who watch that, you know, already have some kind of an expectation or an idea of what could have happened.
Yeah, but there's people like who read every fucking expanded universe book.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, I know how this goes. Oh, no, you don't. We're redoing it. So, I mean, sorry. If it's not canon, it's not fucking canon. They're throwing it out and they're redoing whatever they want. Is that a production memo? Somebody knocking on the front door? Is everybody going to be late? What's happening?
Someone's just asking for the address.
Oh, man, the meeting is going to occur here?
Yeah.
The headquarters.
Did you see the whiteboard with all the topics on it and stuff? Yeah.
I just thought that whiteboard was for him, kind of like that one in the kitchen.
It kind of is, but no, he's having his meeting here. That's why I wanted you guys to be here on goddamn time so we could fit this fucking thing in before he has his fucking meeting, but no.
Whoa, we have a whole 55 minutes.
I know, but if they show up early and there's overlap, and
they're college kids.
I was just trying to avoid that.
This
I
is
was
just
trying
kind of
to
like the
avoid
post show.
that.
Oh, I saw somebody that was in one of your shorts at Best Buy. I didn't say hi or anything. I just like saw him across the store and I was like, I've seen that person in a video before.
Was it a dude or a chick?
A dude. It was the
curly hair.
Yeah, kind of like orange.
The dude who was with Scott Colin.
Yeah, that guy.
You totally should have gone up to him and said, "Hey, man, I saw you in a movie."
Yeah,
I saw you in a movie, and he would have been like, "For real?"
Mm.
Yeah, it was a short film on YouTube.
Yeah, Colin's.
Yeah,
that was me.
But
that would have been funny as hell. Hey, man, were you in a movie? I mean, kinda. Why?
I've been in a few. Man. I'll talk about that later.
Okay, then. All right, then.
We should probably sign. We've already technically signed off.
Well, we've technically ended the episode.
It's just like a little post show.
Yeah, for the subscribers, we can do the post show.
Okay, so we're fixing to have Christmas, and we don't get a Mandalorian episode until
the 27th.
Next Friday. So, when do you guys think you'd want to talk about the rise of Skywalker? Now, this is opening weekend. We've all seen it already, but
I'd like to see it again.
I would like to see it again too.
I think
I want to see it again to take notes, but I'm just saying we should probably not even think about putting anything out until the movie's been out for at least a week.
Yeah, I was gonna say
not that we have a ton of followers we're gonna spoil, but I'm just saying
we can still record it though, and then just
I was gonna say at earliest next weekend.
Next weekend, okay.
Yeah. Just because that gives it a full week that it's been out. But
do we want to do Chapter 8 of The Mandalorian first, and then do...
Well, it doesn't matter which one's first. When we do the Mandalorian episode, we don't have to say anything about Rise of Skywalker then either. Unless it's like directly related. You know,
that'd be wild if
yeah.
they were,
do we want to do Episode 7 and Episode 8 of Star Wars before this, or just jump right into Rise of Skywalker?
We can just treat them as separate things.
Yeah, like after Chapter 8, we're going to need things to kind of fill the void, so...
We'll go back, and we can go back and do them while we're waiting for Kenobi.
Sounds good.
Kenobi's 2021, right?
Now,
Yes.
Here's the thing I was
so
thinking.
far away.
Okay, so yeah, we could do Star Wars movies, but The Witcher just came out on Netflix.
Yeah.
Now that's not released every week. That's boom. Here you go. Here's 8 fucking episodes. So that kind of, I mean, we're gonna watch it.
I'm gonna
and
watch that. That
I
looks so
mean,
good.
we could do, if it's good, maybe we'll consider it. But that's the thing that's out there that we could talk about.
We
But the
also
fact
got
that
Rick
it's
and
all
Morty.
out.
I don't like that.
know.
The Mandalorian has really made me like miss just like weekly episodic
Yeah.
release.
I don't miss it because I have such a weird schedule. I don't like to be. I don't like to be chained to a television at a
Well,
certain time. I do DVR shit, but
Yeah.
I love the binge.
But
I like this anticipation and talking about it and having
Yeah.
a week to, you know.
I have gotten burnt out on the binge. I've noticed that now I'm like so used to binging that I'll just get like 3 or 4 seasons in and then lose interest and just not go back to it.
So if we were going to do The Witcher, let's all make a promise that we will watch in the next week.
At least watch episode 1.
Let's all watch episode 1,
Okay.
and maybe
Maybe we'll try it out.
we'll text and say dude, it was really good, watch it, and then I thought it was good too, and then fuck yeah, it's really okay. Should we do this? And then we'll do a podcast, and then we'll watch them together in order, and we will do a podcast, and we won't watch the next episode before we do it, okay? It's there. It's there.
It's there.
You know, it's
Will
not
we
going
have
anywhere.
a new name for this?
I don't know.
We could also just do like a podcast where we just talk about random shit. Like
Yeah.
if we do like a weekly one or a bi-weekly, we could like
I don't know. We'll
pinpoint
see.
big things that
We'll
happen.
see. We'll see what
see how it
happens.
goes.
We'll see how this
How it
channel
pans
goes.
out. Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, nobody's really listening to it right now. It's not like we have tons of followers or anything, but eventually something might spark, and it'd be nice to have a bunch of content for them to go back to and say, "Oh, look, they've guys been doing it for a while. Here's all this cool. I could go back and look." So, it's not like I'm going to be frustrated and be like, well, no one's listening. Fucking, I'm never doing this again. We can just keep doing it because I like doing it. But
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun.
If anything else, I like just getting together and talking about this shit. And if we happen to record it while we talk about it, man,
It's fun.
Yeah.
So, I got my friend Chase listening to this.
Okay.
And he listened to chapter 5.
Uh-huh.
When he finally got to it, he texted me. He was like, "Bro, you and your brother are hilarious." I don't know, because he's met Nate, so he was like,
Right.
"I know Nate. I don't know the other guy, but he kind of sounds like a dick."
I was thinking, when I listen back to it, I'm like, man, I kind of sound like abrupt and like I cut. But see, here, I mean,
We
look,
do get sidetracked.
I mean,
though,
well, no.
heavily.
I mean, I take these notes and I just kind of go through them, and you guys just sit there like I'm telling you a story.
Well, no,
Jump in at any point. I mean, you do jump in, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying you guys can talk about the scene too. If I'm gonna move on to the next thing, you could say something. It doesn't, but it seems a lot like I'm just sitting here reading to you guys, and I'm like, no,
Well,
I don't want it to be like that, but.
I was gonna say I actually don't mind it. I kind of like the structure that we've just
Me
kind
too.
of grown.
Really?
Yeah.
because it gives us a chance.
I don't
to
want
kind
it
of
to
just
seem like I'm just sitting here telling you guys shit, and
But I like it
know.
because then like the three of us can kind of interject with like bullshit funny things.
Well,
or,
no,
like,
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say it's nice to just kind of go through the episode
Right.
and discuss our,
Well,
views on different.
I listen to
you know.
podcasts about episodic television shows and stuff, and sometimes they're just scatterbrained,
Yeah.
and they'll talk about something, then they'll talk about the next thing, and then they'll jump to something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
are they not gonna mention that thing?
Yeah.
And they don't, and I'm like, oh,
Well, that's what I like about
know.
Yeah,
us.
cover
is
all the
that
bases.
we're not scatterbrained for the most part. We
right.
kind of go.
We hit all the beats.
Yeah.
But I just don't want it to be like, I'm just sitting here telling you guys stuff, and I have the choice to let you talk or not talk
Yeah.
because I'm going down the list. Damn it!
Not gonna
So-
lie, I've got a couple of friends that listen to our podcast
Oh,
too,
yeah?
and a couple of them have said,
I'm a dick.
Well, no, just a couple of them have said, "Dude, can I be a guest so I can just talk about something.
Again, you're shattering the illusion, Andrew.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Well, shit. You said
I'll beep it out.
Whoa! I was gonna say earlier. You said that.
I know.
He does know our.
Damn it! Shut the fuck up, Jack.
You said that you're brothers before.
Yeah. Chase,
Anyway.
my buddy Chase is the only one who said that you were a dick. My buddy JT listened
But
to it.
he's
He
the
was
one who's
like-
been to my shows.
Yeah, well, JT and Chase both have.
Okay.
I just don't think he's
But
made
you
the
didn't
connection
know
yet.
who I
that
was?
This
Oh,
is,
okay.
This
okay.
is you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I met them.
Because he was just
Well,
like
we've
the other
mentioned
guy.
ourselves.
I don't think you've met the guy.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I've only met your work people, like some of them
Yeah.
once.
Was
the
it
time I
Reed?
was there.
You've met Reed too.
Oh, I've met Reed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Reed?
Is Reed listening to it?
Reed listens. Yeah.
No. Well, hey, Reed, what's up? Give me a hug, brother.
Mom listens sometimes.
Does she?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? What are you doing? Nothing? Okay.
I'm sure if we did a podcast over the Passion of the Christ, I could get my mom to listen.
We can get Henry to listen too if we did that.
It'd be too much foul language, though.
Wow.
She wouldn't listen to
Henry.
You're so
Granddaddy.
committed. You
That's
call
when we
him
just
Henry.
say it in Hebrew.
Jesus.
it. Hebrew.
All right.
How do you say fuck that in Hebrew? I don't know.
I'm sure we can find out.
I'm sure we can find out.
But
we have gone off the rails.
that was,
So I guess it's time to end this. I've got a lot of work to do. You've got a meeting. You've got to go to work. You don't have anything to do, I don't imagine.
I'm on Christmas break, dog.
yeah,
Dope.
I'm kind of on Christmas break, but I still have a ton of work I have to do. I just don't know that I'm able to charge time for it. Anyway,
same. So that was chapter 7.
Pickle Red.
that was chapter 7. So we got one more.
One mo.
One more.
Thank you all for
Hey, look, it's Reed.
Speak
Say
of
hi
the
to
devil.
him. Say hi to him on the podcast. Speakerphone.
Hey, Reed, guess what?
What's up?
You're on speakerphone on the podcast, my dog.
What up?
Hey, man.
George R. Geeks is awesome. What's up, everybody?
Hey, man.
What's up, Reed?
Hey, cool. Hey, I'm waiting for episode. Is it? Boop. Whichever the next one's about to come out for you. I don't know. I don't remember.
I think 6 is the next one that's gonna get.
6. I'll do a slideshow for 6 this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody loves the slideshows.
Cool.
You guys are pretty great.
Aw,
Awesome.
look at that.
Well, while you're on here, Reed, we're going to sign off on this podcast. This was episode 7, so thanks for being here. Special guest, Reed.
I'll send you my address for the check. So.
Okay, all right.
Thank you guys for.
royalties and everything. We'll figure it all out later. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Hope you all have a happy holiday.
Bye.
Scott's gone mad.
I have lost my package. I took my sanity and I wrapped it up in a very small package.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck you then. I didn't want to play with you anyway. What'd I say she said? Mud scuffers? Scuffers.
You move milkers are late.
Late. You
damn
Super
moof
duper
milkers.
fucking late. Yeah. Did you close that door? The outside door? Okay. Late. Fucking late. Super late.
Are you really recording right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So we're here to talk about this Rick and Morty episode, right?
Kind of.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. I'm so happy I finally got caught up on Rick and Morty, so now I understand the joke that everybody's been making.
You see the meme that I shared?
Yeah.
That was cool. It was like Mandalorian, but Rick and Morty.
Seen it.
Yeah.
Been there. half an hour ago when I was sitting around doing nothing.
Do you want to drink or anything while I'm up, Andrew?
There's water right there.
Yeah, there's water right here, Jack.
I was gonna, if it was cool, I was gonna grab a Coke Light because I love those things.
Go for it.
It would have been cool if you grabbed it half an hour ago, but I guess you could go ahead and do it now while you're up and not over here starting the podcast. So is Jack the holdup? Is that why you guys were late? Is it Jack? Is that what's happening here? Is it Jack's fault?
Both of us.
Oh, is it?
It's both of us.
Somebody's ready to go at 11:15.
11:15.
Somebody was ready to go 15 minutes, well,
Late.
25 minutes or so late. Yeah. All right.
Oh man. Needless to say, we're better evening podcasters.
I
than
guess.
late
Damn.
Morning.
Absolutely. Evening over morning.
Oh man. Well, somebody has to deliver pizzas tonight.
Somebody has a meeting at 2 o'clock.
That's me.
What's your meeting for?
And I don't deliver,
Production
I make.
meeting for my script.
Oh,
I
neat.
want to start shooting that late spring, early summer.
Cool. Was this with people from school?
Yeah.
It's the crime drama he's writing.
I know. I saw
part 1.
your draft 3 on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So, shall we begin?
I guess. Give me one of those chocolates.
Oh man, a fresh buy.
It magically refills overnight.
Yeah.
As long as I leave it, it'll just. As long as I leave 2 in there, I come back the next day and it's full.
Yeah.
But those 2 are gone as a sacrifice.
Yeah. Well,
So-
you know.
So we're doing this podcast, and we are going to make it a goal to not bring
talk
up
about
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker at all.
Okay. Now, are we going to feel free to talk about it after the podcast, or are we going to save that for a separate podcast?
Separate.
Yeah, separate.
I'd like to see it again before I
Okay.
really go into it.
Yes, me too.
Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
But I mean, when we're not recording, we can talk about it. But
We could talk about it.
mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, give me a fucking second. Unless you want to do the intro.